Are you ready to choose a new approach to LSAT logical reasoning? Are you ready to transform uncertainty into clarity, and anxiety into confidence? Let's begin, together, as a community of empowered learners. The best learning happens when you feel in control, supported, and inspired. Today, you have all three. Let's unlock the logic of assumptions, one choice at a time. Understanding assumptions in the LSAT. What is an assumption? In the context of the LSAT, an assumption is an unstated premise that must be true for an argument to work. There are two main types. Necessary assumptions, these are required for the argument's conclusion to hold. If a necessary assumption is false, the argument collapses. Sufficient assumptions, these, if true, guarantee the argument's conclusion. They fill the logical gap between the evidence and the conclusion, making the argument valid. Why are assumptions important? Logical reasoning section. Many questions directly test your ability to spot these hidden links. Mastery here is essential for a high score. Writing sample. While not directly tested, constructing a strong argument requires you to understand and deploy assumptions effectively, anticipating what your reader needs to accept for your position to be persuasive. Part 2, The Michelle Thomas Approach, Stress-Free, Incremental Mastery. Michelle Thomas revolutionized language learning by removing stress and focusing on understanding over memorization. Let's apply his principles to LSAT assumption questions. 1. Stress-free learning environment. Thomas principle: there is no such thing as a student's mistake, only a teacher's mistake. LSAT application: don't fear wrong answers. Each attempt is a step toward understanding. Approach each question as a puzzle, not a test of memory. 2. Incremental building blocks. Break down complex material into simple, digestible parts. LSAT application. Step 1. Identify the conclusion and premises. Step 2. Ask, what must be true for this conclusion to follow from these premises? Step 3. Predict the missing link before looking at answer choices. 3. Interactive, conversational learning. Thomas principle: learning happens best through dialogue and active participation. LSAT application. Discuss arguments with peers or out loud with yourself. Challenge yourself: if I were to disagree with this argument, what would I attack? Use the negation test for necessary assumptions. Negate each answer choice. If the argument falls apart, you've found the necessary assumption. Part 3, the Dr. Pimsleur Approach, Retention, and Organic Learning. Dr. Pimsleur's method is built on graduated interval recall, organic learning, and auditory engagement. Here's how these can supercharge your LSAT prep. 1. Graduated interval recall. Pimsleur principle: revisit concepts at increasing intervals to cement understanding. LSAT application. Space out your practice of assumption questions. Review both correct and incorrect answers after a day, a week, and a month to reinforce patterns. 2. Organic, intuitive learning. Pimsleur principle: learn naturally, as you would a language, by exposure and use, not rote memorization. LSAT application. Regularly expose yourself to real-world arguments, editorials, debates, and practice identifying their assumptions. Develop an intuitive sense for logical gaps by engaging with a variety of argument structures. 3. Auditory and conversational practice. Pimsleur principle: listening and speaking are key to mastery. LSAT application. Read arguments aloud and explain your reasoning. Listen to recordings of logical arguments and pause to predict assumptions before hearing the analysis. Part 4, Practical Strategies. Let's combine the best of both worlds into actionable steps. Step 1. Break down the argument. Identify the conclusion and premises. Ask, what is the author taking for granted? Step 2. Predict the assumption. Before looking at answer choices, articulate what must be true for the argument to work. Step 3. Apply the negation test. For necessary assumptions, negate each answer choice. If the argument fails, that's your answer. Step 4. Bridge the gap. For sufficient assumptions, find the answer that, if added, makes the conclusion follow logically from the premises. Step 5. Practice, review, and repeat. Use spaced repetition to revisit tricky questions. Discuss your reasoning with others or record yourself explaining the logic. Part 5. The connection to the writing sample. While the writing sample does not directly test assumption identification, the skill is foundational. When constructing your own argument, you must make your assumptions explicit or ensure they are reasonable. Anticipate counterarguments by considering what your reader might not accept without further support. Remember, mastery is not a destination, but a journey of small, intentional choices. With each practice session, you are rewiring your brain for clarity, resilience, and success. The LSAT is not just a test of logic, it's an opportunity to build lifelong skills in critical thinking and self-mastery. You have the tools. You have the mindset. Now, trust the process, and yourself.